Welcome back, everyone.
What's happening?
Hey. I'm glad everyone could make it.
Indeed.
Glad to see everyone's beautiful faces and smiles.
Likewise.
Mark completely destroys our soul with this dungeon afoot.
Dungeon? No, we're not quite there yet. All right. Welcome, everybody. Thanks very much for coming. This is going to be our second episode of Echoes of the Astral Sea, our added on to Light of Xerix's campaign, starting with our Spelljammer Academy edition right in the beginning, just sort of get used to the characters, get the character nuances handled, get the characters used to each other, get players used to the characters, that whole deal. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and jump into it today. Let's go ahead and start, though, with any announcements, Matt?
Not too many announcements. Our TikTok's awesome. I want to thank everyone that's been following and partaking in my silliness every day. I hope everyone's enjoying it. Please follow, hit a subscribe, and leave a comment. Let me know what content's good, what content's bad. We'll have some of our OG, original content of clips of the campaign here shortly posted, so everyone can see our silliness there as well. Other than that, my name's Matt Roberts. I'm playing Valen, and one kind of quirky thing about him is he can only wink with one eye. So,
is that not a wink anyways?
Only one side of his face.
No.
All right. And so we have Matt So we have Matt with Valen. We also have, of course, myself as the DM. I'm Mark. And then we have Dayton as...
Howdy. I will be playing Tinman today. And interesting thing about him, he doesn't let anyone know this, but he's notorious for leaking oil like a sieve.
Oh no! He wets the bed.
Not
It's
just
a
the bed.
It's a medical condition.
That's awesome. I can't wait to find out.
All right. We also have Josh as...
I'm playing General Szar. I'm a Thrycreen pirate. And if you've ever eaten around him, his mandibles make very creepy sounds.
As we learned last session when he ate that chicken, bone and all. And last but certainly not least, we have Alex.
Hello all, I am Alex. I will be playing your bugbear ranger, Skarok. And interesting thing about Skarok, his favorite food to cook is a beast native to his land called the kabak. It looks suspiciously like a GIF.
Uh-huh. So some sort of hippo creature.
I will not be eating that street food.
And what was it called again?
I'd eat it.
Kabak. Kabak.
Kabak.
Now the question is, kabak, GIF, hippos, you get three of them in a room together, what's going to happen? Do they just explode?
Dinner.
I'm taking
Maybe
the
we'll
game.
find out.
Dinner happens.
What was it? Eat, fry, dine with, or something like that?
Yes.
Who are you going to fry? Who are you going to eat? Who are you going to dine with?
That's hilarious. Yes.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and do a quick recap of our last session. So last time we sort of started into the morning goings on at the Spelljammer Academy. We had met with Szar, who had spent some time in the sky dock. He found a nice little hammock for himself. until Tarto came along to try and to locate him and bring him in for his first test. On his way down, he had gone directly down to the meeting area. In the meantime, Tinman had spent a little bit of time coming awake to Mr. Blip, who had allegedly been caring for him and putting him back together after the damage he had taken on his, we'll say, rough descent into the atmosphere of Toril.
Yeah, let's call it that.
On our way down, they passed the gymnasium where Valen was doing his morning stretches. He was getting himself ready for the day, knowing that there was going to be some sort of physical requirement of him coming up. And then heading back down towards the, back past the mess where they met with Rybeck and, of course, Skarok, who had some witty banter about flaying his gift friend for dinner. And this recent kabak makes a little more sense now.
Now we know why.
Yeah. So they had headed down towards the main area where they had met the receptionist, who was another Thrycreen, who didn't really have much to say at the time, as Crux and Tarto sort of argued between each other. Crux seems to be perpetually late, otherwise busy. He never seems to be particularly reliable in matters of time. But affable as he is, he still managed to get you to your first test on time, where you met Serth, the Spelljammer instructor of the Spelljammer Academy, and the person who handles the simulators alongside Mr. Blip. You were taken up to the simulation deck, where you were put across from a few cadets who were competing against you in this initial test. The test, of course, once you were in the simulation itself, was basically a relay race. You had to run up, put your hand on the spectator Tony, and make your way back without being heard or, struck by a teleportation beam from Tony. Starting off, everybody seemed to be doing pretty good. Tinman, Skarok, and Szar, just took off. Valen had a little bit of an issue early on, a little misstep. Sent him a little sprawling in space, sort of trying to keep his stiffness, and so that he wasn't moving around too much, making noise. But he managed to recover with the Starlight Step, and basically made it look easy. At the same time, the other team seemed to be having some issues. Their Plasmoid seemed to be really friendly, and when impressed with your abilities, clapped and made himself a target, getting sent back to the beginning. This happened twice. But aside from that, the other Thrycreens seemed to have the same idea as Szar, and started using Misty Step to approach Tony without any overt movement that might make any sound. And then as you got towards the end, Tinman had managed to make a particularly inspired leap. And in fact, because of it, I'm going to give you inspiration, Tinman, for this session. An incredibly quiet leap between a small asteroid and the platform that Tony was on, which was done entirely silent without a single noise. And then following, he crawled up on, got behind Tony, and then the rest of his team showed up. Szar first, who had instructed Tony after laying his hand on Tony where the opponents were, sending them back to the beginning as well. And then, of course, Skarok and then Valen. Or Valen and then Skarok. Skarok himself grabbing one of Tony's manipulators and pointing it at himself and just said, "Hey," and was sent back to the beginning. The rest of the team followed suit. Tinman intentionally lifting up the rock he had taken from the side of the platform, dropping it down to make the noise, and then being sent back to the beginning. And at that moment, the simulation disappeared, and you had clearly finished what was intended for you in this test. Serth had entered the room, and we had left off on his effusive praise of your incredible problem solving and ingenious methods of getting back. So you very much deserve a pat on the back for what you've done and for your moment with Tony Skarok. I'm also going to give you inspiration for this session. So remember those. Make sure you note those down. But all right, so Sereth bursts into the room. He walks up and it's like, that was brilliant. It's been a long time since I've seen anything like that. Most of the cadets just come in here and do it on their own. They just jump. But no, the flight, just brilliant. He comes down the line and shakes each of your hands at a time, starting with Valen. Valen, you realize that as Sereth lets go of your hand, there is a gold piece in your hand. And he does the same thing down the line. Each of you gets a gold piece. So you get about 5 gold from that. Towards the end, he leans into Skarok, and Sereth says, between you and me, I made a bet with Tarto. She didn't think you'd make it. She thought Mikhail's group would best you. We're both delighted. She is indeed a fool, but she's only a fool in matters of gambling. Be careful around her. She's smarter than you think. But she was actually here moments ago. So, for your victory lap, please go say hi to the other cadets. And for the next few hours until lunch, you're free.
Sereth,
Now that you
who's
plan.
cooking lunch today?
Ryback, of course.
Oh,
God.
no, please, Skarok.
Say last time in.
We're going to have more street food from the vermin down there.
Look, let's go greet the other cadets, and I'll see what I can do.
I'm sure he would be delighted to have your assistance again. You two seem to get along.
Begrudgingly. If that man comes with my food with lard again, he will be my food.
Well, tell me how that goes, because I think it would be a brilliant exchange.
I may not want to eat that, but I may want to see that.
I'd eat it.
I'd take that.
Tinman, what is your... Actually, Tinman and Szar, what are your passive perceptions?
Ooh.
That's a good question. Passive perception for Szar is 19.
15.
10
No,
minutes.
sorry,
14.
13.
Okay. Being the two that would recognize this, you notice that as the simulation sort of dissolves towards the edges, as it's still dissolving, the illusion is going away. You notice an odd a flicker, sort of a static in the simulation, the illusion. And you notice that it sort of sends out a gentle purplish black wave. And you kind of feel the magnetism as it disperses. You felt this before. You sort of feel this magnetism sort of shift your body a little bit. The other, Skarok and Valen, you feel it as well, but you don't recognize it. You sort of assume that it might be the regulation of the gravity having settled into, the simulation being something that was lower gravity.
Okay.
But Tinman and Szar, you recognize this feeling and you know what it is. Whatever this specific feeling is, it's very common in the Great Belt, specifically among areas that have to create their own gravity field. So whatever this technology this is running on, it was a newer thing in the Great Belt as you were leaving.
Wow, that was weird.
And Mark, you said that Skarok clocked it, but didn't really no real reaction.
Yeah, the places where this might have been used is not a spot that Skarok would have spent a lot of time in.
All right. So yeah, he just kind of shrugs off the unusual feeling and heads over towards the other cadets.
Tinman, Szar, do you have anything to say about that?
Just gonna keep it under my hat for now. I don't
Same.
know a whole lot about what's going on here at the academy. Folks seem friendly enough, but we are an awful long way away from the belt, so just gonna keep my eyes out.
Same.
All right. So you each see that Skarok has turned to head off towards the other simulation deck where Mikhail and his team is.
Oh, Valen, what are you doing?
Honestly, I'm just going through the coins, stacking them up on the doorway for someone, and getting ready to leave the room. Nothing in particular, other than setting the coins down.
All right. So seeing him do that, and we're like, "Hey, Skyborn, let's go talk to the other cadets."
Yeah, let's go see what they're all about. They weren't very impressive, were they? You see that gelatin just waving?
Hey, you know.
Hey, you did pretty good out there. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey,
I was taken back. I thought you were about to just completely screw the pooch there, give away Tinman's position, and here you are. You pulled it out. Hey, good work.
I appreciate that. You're playing dead, top notch. He didn't see you there.
We have certain animals that we used to hunt that would do a similar tactic when you would get close to them.
Ah, yes. No, Skarok knows. There's a beast that when you don't move, it can't see you. Very handy.
Yeah, something similar to that. Yeah, big guy.
Come, let's go talk. Let's go.
You got something on your claws down there. And then as he looks down, I'm gonna just hold up that like symbol on my knee for him to see.
The ball gazer.
Yeah. And then I walk right past him towards the door.
Tinman's just gonna like look up at Skarok. Is that a cultural thing?
I don't know. He's gonna shake his head and go. Yeah, I'm gonna go approach the plasmoid and say, just basically, kind of braggadocious, like, thanks for the help out there.
The plasmoid is like as you enter the other simulation deck, you can see Mikan is sitting on the ground, still a little dejected from their humiliating loss.
Mikan is the plasmoid, right?
So Mikan's the human. I'm going through the entire group really quick, just so you get an idea of where they are and what's going on in the other room. But Mikan's sort of sitting on his knees, head in his hands, just sort of. You could see he's dejected from his loss. You could see that the Thrycreen is on the other side of the room, just sort of swinging arms at the sky and occasionally pulling. You can hear the sound of chitin off of the metallic wall of the simulation chamber as she throws. She's just furious. And then, as you enter, Fred, the plasmoid, just walks up. You can see he's got a little cravat on, little Fred Jones sort of, what are they called?
Cardigan?
The neck thing, his ascot.
Oh, yes.
He's got a little blue ascot on, Olive Fred Jones, and he walks up and he's like, no problem. You did a very good job out there.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Talks.
Fred, my man.
Is that cultural?
I appreciate the help, but your team may not appreciate that. And looking at the dejected human, your name is Mikan. Am I not mistaken?
He looks up. Mikan Haverstance, yes. I am a new cadet here at the academy.
Well, you may not have won this day, but shake it off. There are other events. You did good out there.
Pick yourself up, cadet. Have a little bit of, respect. You can lose with, but not wear it on your sleeve. This is unbecoming.
Unlike that guy, pointing over at the Thrycreen.
You can see Mikan look over towards the Thrycreen, and then back up to Fred. You can you see that the words have had an effect on him. Skarok, I'm going to have you roll a straight charisma check. You're going to get advantage because Valen's there, or Valen and Tinman are there.
All right. Let's see. I believe that rolled. That's a solid 10.
Big old 10. You could see that the words have a bolstering effect. He pulls himself to his, or pushes himself to his feet, and sort of looks over, and he gives you a look and holds out a hand. Thank you. We're new here, and we've been having trouble fitting in, but thank you.
I can imagine. And he just kind of gestures at the the massive furry body. Anyways, cadet, good luck. You may lose more if you come against us, but I wish you all the best. And then Skarok just kind of, pats him on the shoulder way too hard and like knocks him off balance and walks back over towards Tinman and Szar.
Skarok, if they don't have what it takes, man, we shouldn't encourage this. This is only going to hurt us.
Are you saying that loud enough for me, Ken, to hear?
No, I'm kind of like staying to Skarok, just kind of quietly.
Okay.
And
Zar's gonna wink and wave at the other Thrycreen.
Skarok is going to kind of whisper back to Valen, like, oh, they will not make it. That is for certain. But it will be much entertaining watching them.
With friends like you, who needs enemies?
I'm kind of looking over at Szar here, and I'm like, it's true what they say. Thrycreen men recite poetry, and their women hurl things.
Oh, I'm no poet, but I definitely don't do that.
Tinman, you know much about the Thrycreen culture?
Only what I heard. Truth be told, I haven't actually had a chance to meet a lot of folk. Out where I come from, there's certain races don't tend to run the circles that I run, but I try and gather as much information I can just so that I don't offend anyone the first time I meet someone, such as yourself, an astral elf. I've heard all about how y'all have a 20, step hair routine for keeping yourselves looking as good as you do.
And I'm gonna kind of look at Skarok and Szar like, what the heck?
Szar is fighting uncontrollable laughter.
And I'm kind of confused that he knows so much, but also is kind of like talking so much.
And Skarok just kind of does that, like, I knew it. You are Skyborn, just like my people. You live way up there. You eat the food and do no work. I know your type.
Are you talking to me, Skarok? You think I don't do any of the work?
Oh, no. Now, I don't mean it in that way, friend. See, where I come from, there are people that, well, my kind like to call the sky people. They live up above the trees. We, in the undergrowth, we are the trugs. We matter not in society. So you definitely are one of them. But there are good ones. I would not be here if there were not.
I understand your candor, Skarok, and I do appreciate your position and your perspective on us as the elves of the great space Astral Sea. But I assure you, I'm not like one of them.
Valen, I can believe that. Shall we eat? It's been a bit of a day. I'll cook.
I did hear we're gonna be at the cafeteria around here, but I'm not all that hungry. But I'll tag along here. I got a few things I got to take care of here today yet.
Suit yourself.
What's
And
that
then I
bug
just
brain?
kind of
What's that bug brain doing? I'm gonna turn around and kind of look at him.
I'm Definitely kind of hungry.
And like when I talk to him, I don't really want to look him at in his mouth. It's like kind of gross. Ah, you're hungry. Go figure. All right, I think we're gonna hit the cafeteria, big guy.
As we start to kind of walk along and move on out, Tin Man kind of pipes up in the back like, I certainly know a something thing or two about not mattering much to society. Kind of under his own breath, you know.
Do I hear that?
It's quiet, but it's not meant to be unheard.
Yeah, I just look back
And-
at him. I'm completely freaked out by that he's whispering now.
Say no. Skarok kind of tracks that and says, "I can imagine that, Tin Man. I can." So, anyways, it's nice to meet y'all. Let's go eat and figure out what's next.
Yeah, let's do something. That's for sure.
All right, say it, Mark. We're gonna move on.
Yep. So as Serth said, you sort of have free reign of the academy now within reasonable limits. The module itself usually comes with a sort of security clearance, but that's contrived if we're honest. But anyway, so yeah, within reason, you're welcome to explore the academy itself. Tin Man, you do recall that Crux had mentioned that Blip seems to have some sort of firearm collection that he insisted that you check out. It seems that he's aware of your predilection. Aside from that, you know that usually around this time, Skarok is when Ryback is getting ready for the lunch rush. The cadets are going to be finishing up their first classes. So it might be time to get back down there to see what's going on. And it sounds like that's the way you were heading anyway. Is that correct?
Yep. I'm gonna head down to the cafeteria regardless of who comes with, and kick Ryback out of the kitchen or tie him to a bench. Actually, in fact, I kind of want to tie him to a bench when he objects to my cooking.
All right. So as you're heading down, you're heading southward through the. Oh, excuse me. You're heading down from the simulation deck to the cadet quarters. As you're passing the gymnasium, you can hear the telltale sound of many of the cadets doing their daily physical, their fitness, their stretches, all that good stuff. The drills, as it were. And Valen, it takes you back a little bit because you recall the smell of many bodies pressed into one, everybody working in unison, the rhythmic expression of breath as everybody works in the same thing at the same time in time. The unity,
the cadence of
exactly
the group working as one. Yeah, I notice it and I can feel it, and it definitely adds a little bit of a more rigid walk and march to my step, if anything. And I kind of get some of that old military training kind of just gets into my step a little bit.
All right. The rest of you sort of notice, or how noticeable is it? Just sort of a shift in your gait sort of deal? Straight back?
Shifting my gait, my shoulders kind of roll back a little bit, kind of walking with a purpose, and kind of ready to go,
All right. As you head down the hallway towards the gymnasium to head down to the cadet quarters, you actually see that Tarto is the one leading the class, and she herself is in, a set of fatigues. She's up in front. She's leading the class and participating at the same time, demonstrating what should be done, how it should be done. And her general physical prowess is relatively impressive for her probably 40 or 50 years of age, and likely from what you can tell, her lifelong military service or something close to thereof. But with that observation, you head down to the cadet quarters, and Skarok, you of course head to the sorry, I'm losing my words here. The mess hall to help with Ryback with the food for lunch. You can hear that, people starting to moving. People seemed, some of the tables are already filled up. And then sort of Miken and the other two sort of fall in behind you as you get there. So from here, with Skarok heading back to help Ryback, what is everybody else doing?
I want to check out the weapons with Tinman, but also kind of keep an eye on him a little bit, and go with, not with him, but along with him.
Right. So sort of heading, both walking to the same place in the same direction.
Yeah.
Okay. Tin Man, where are you heading down to see Blip then, to the stores?
I am. As I do so, is it evident that Valen is moving in the same direction as me?
That depends. Are you trying to be stealthy about it, Valen?
No. I still have a bit of a purpose in my walk. As I see him look back, I'm gonna... Hey, Tin Man, hold up here. You going to check out those weapons?
Kind of take a moment, not really breathe, but you can kind of see like the servos in his neck kind of extend up and down as some steam kind of works out from the sides of his face. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I was.
All right, cool. I'm gonna tag along, buddy.
Kind of nod to him and continue on.
And I'm just gonna follow behind him. Not really talking to him though for now.
Okay. Sort of companionable silence at the moment.
Yeah, it's probably a little awkward.
It's definitely awkward.
It's very awkward.
Probably a little awkward.
So the Szar, you see that Tin Man and Valen head out, seeming to head downwards toward the storefronts. As was mentioned earlier, Crux and Tarto had given each of you a $50 credit to the storefronts, and then of course you had the 5 gold from Serth that they apparently bet on you. So just keep that in mind. You got about 55 gold. What would you like to do, Szar?
I would like to go to the cafeteria.
Okay. You are currently at the cafeteria. You see Skarok pull ahead of you and head towards the back of the kitchen. Like I said, you can see that some of the tables are starting to fill up, but the doorway out to the refectory, which is the outside dining area, a little balcony, is closed off. You can actually see a guard standing in front of it.
Ooh, I want to go ask him why it's closed.
As you approach, you can see that the guard is wearing sort of mundane-looking clothes, though it's particularly well kept. Sort of just a normal chest plate, normal steel chest plate, red undershirt, gambeson, I think they're called, underneath, and he's carrying a particularly nasty-looking polearm. You can see the telltale points of his elven ears coming out the sides of his helmet that he wears on top. And like I said, the metal on it is very nicely polished, and he sort of stares at you with a withering, like piercing yellow glare. What do you want?
Why is the outdoor dining area closed?
Royal visitors.
Who?
Learn from your superiors. I do not answer random questions.
Shame.
Indeed.
I would like to go find, Tardo?
Yes, you saw Tardo up in the gymnasium.
Yeah, I'm gonna go talk to her.
Okay. As you're leaving the cafeteria, you actually see Crux walk in.
Oh, he might know. Hey, Crux.
You see as he walks in, he didn't seem to clock you at first. You can see his gaze is right on that guard. You can see there's sort of bags under his eyes. It doesn't look like he's sleeping too well, or he's been stressed throughout the day since you saw him last. and he's staring sort of balefully, not balefully, but like intently at the guard, and it sort of takes him a moment to snap over. Oh, Szar. Yeah, what? Well, how can I help? What do you need?
Oh, I was just wondering who the royal visitors were, and they closed off the outdoor dining area. I like to eat out there.
As do I. I'm particularly upset. Usually Mert and I take our lunches out there.
We still can, if you know what I'm saying.
Unfortunately, this one is sanctioned by Mert himself. Otherwise, I would gladly kick them out. But how familiar are you with... No, I shouldn't ask. I apologize, never mind.
No, you can ask, it's fine. You won't upset me or anything.
I will be asking questions to which I'll have answers to in a few days. You will also have those answers. I need only be patient.
Fair enough.
But I appreciate your patience with me. The royal visitor is an astral elf. I know not their name, but I do know that they are important, and they're curious about what the Spelljammer Academy is and does.
So you want us to put on a show?
Mert's of a mind that we should do so, yes. And from what I heard, your efforts in the tests might just assist with that. My personal opinion, though, is I don't believe they should be here at all. There's never anything good with aristocrats. Especially those from the Astral Sea. But I suppose we can find a different seat and eat it inside. Or, you see an idea dawn on his face. Perhaps, to throw it in his face a little bit, we can all... Oh, where are Tinman and Valen?
I believe they went to go look at weapons.
Oh, they went to see Blip.
Yeah,
And-
that sounds about right. I was too
Skarok?
hungry, I wasn't wholeheartedly listening to the conversation.
No, I understand. Hunger does that to a man. And what of Skarok? Is he helping with lunch then?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, something like that.
a shame. But perhaps
Are they standing right near the kitchen? Like they're still right by the refectory kitchen entrance, right?
Yes, they're right there, sort of towards the entryway door, well within earshot. And Crux isn't a quiet person, so you could definitely hear him.
At that point, hearing like my name, I'm gonna say, said Ryback, I warned you a million times, and I'm gonna take one of his jars of lard and just like throw it into like the garbage chute, basically.
You can Crux and Szar, you hear a very loud, like, because these cans are like this big. They're probably like 10 pounds per can. As it sails through the air, you hear the loud clatter and the ding of metal on metal, and following a very loud and very irate, "Well, what are you doing, Skarok? That's for dinner."
And as he's saying this, like I've got the meat out on the butcher's block, and I'm just like shaving off these like very, very thin slices, and just saying, Ryback, stop moving, sit down, and prepare to eat. And as it's like basically getting like taunting him and just kind of like shaving, it's very clear like I'm shaving off stripes of Quebec meat in to saute up for lunch.
I would like you to make an intimidation check for me.
Oh, with pleasure.
With pleasure.
And don't forget, you have inspiration if you want to use it.
Let's go.
How about a 4?
He's not buying it.
You can see that Ryback is still visibly upset. Like, he's not angry per se. Like, he's not angry with you. He's angry at the situation. You sort of had a bit of a banter. You spent some time with him, so he understands that your intention isn't to actually upset him or to completely sabotage what's going on here. But at the same time, he's an older man. He's set in his ways. He knows what, he's been doing this for a good while. And so to disrupt that order is understandably a little upsetting to him.
Oh yeah, no, 100% what I'm going for. Is this literally like
Absolutely. And he kind of sees that's what you're trying to do. He recognizes that the lard thrown away is still technically usable because the can didn't burst open. So he sees it for what it is, but you can still see his brow is furrowed and there's tension in his stance. He does not sit down, but he does see sort of the telltale shape of the meat that you're carving. Is it pre-cooked? Is it already cooked?
No. This is like
Okay.
so it's coming out of the bag of colding and it's frozen solid. So like he shaves off like yakiniku style, like very, very thin slices and starts sauteing it up. And it's like and as he's cooking it, it's like a sweet, savory sauce, and it's served over rice with like aromatic greens on it. And I'm gonna finish the first bowl and like slide it across the counter to Ryback and say, "Try this, my man. I swear you'll put the lard away forever."
I'm still imagining like a whole like hippopotamus shank.
And
Roughly, yeah.
It's
and
literally
you
the
can
like meat emoji. It's so big.
it's like Monster Hunter. So like the giant flank of meat.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Ryback watches you as you work, and you can see that there is respect in the way he watches your work. You know, this is one chef to another, one cook to another, one connoisseur of the culinary arts to another. That said, you can see his frustration turn into concern as he recognizes the rough shape and the gray skin and the sort of natural roughness to said skin before you start filleting it. And you see his maw sort of zips up, buttons up, and as you hand it to him, he gives you an incredulous look. One time I fell into a bonfire. It smelled a lot like this.
Don't
No.
say, old man. Try it. I promise you, it is not gift. It is not. I'm not eating your breath. I promise you that. It's similar, more docile. Like to eat mizumelon. I believe you call them watermelons here.
I've heard of the mizu melon. I'll try it. You see as he holds up the piece that you gave him in a hand that is very large. He holds it up and he goes, "Well, I said I'd try anything once." And he lifts it up, opens his mouth, drops it in, and you hear him. Good texture. The oil. What oil did you... No. You may make a believer out of me yet, Skarok. Consider today yours.
And he just kind of waves the knife at him like, "I told you." And I just continue like shaving off more meat and like making enough for the crew.
You win this round, Bugbear.
He goes over to the trash can and palms out the dented can of lard and then slaps it back down on the counter and goes about basically putting together whatever utensils you need in order to make this a meal for everybody for lunch. Can you roll your cooking tools?
Oh yeah. So essentially I will just slice out the meat, kind of prepare the sauce, and kind of show the rest of the cooking staff how to prepare it. What do
It's
you want
just
me to
you and
roll for that?
Ryback.
Oh, it is? Okay. So yeah, just
Yeah.
I don't know if I have cooking tools on my sheet.
So if you want to, you can just roll, say, a dexterity plus proficiency.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll give you advantage.
You know, in this case, I'll just roll a dexterity save since that's basically what it'll give me anyway.
Good shout. Oh, you got
17.
your advantage. All right, I would like you to roll a d6.
D6. All right. That is a
Okay.
so a 17 on the dex check and a 3 on the D6.
Okay. So, and you were preparing this for the lunch for the academy, correct?
Yeah. So for the academy, and mostly, obviously, the academy one, they are not going to get as nicely sliced meat as it's away from home. It is somewhat of a delicacy. So clearly, Valen and Szar, I'll give them a nice choice serving, and then just kind of speed shave the rest of it.
Okay. Yeah. So you set off a portion for Szar and Valen. And Ryback sets them aside in a warming device to keep them good for a while, since those two have already headed out. And it takes you probably 20 minutes to get this all prepped and ready, enough for Ryback to reliably take over and begin serving everybody else. I believe I can take it from here, Skarok. If you'd like to, go ahead, finish your tour.
Will do. And just to put this on as completely unsanitary, you notice that while Skarok is cooking, he's just got basically an herb cigarette draped on the side of his mouth, just constantly like you would imagine like a short order chef in some seedy restaurant.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and Ryback himself. Ryback himself wears like brown coveralls and a grease stained white shirt. Very much a ship's cook sort of look. So you're in good company.
So yeah, I'm gonna hang up the my butcher's apron as well, and kind of wipe down the knife, attach it back onto the glaive, and head out.
All right. As you're heading out, you realize that, as this is about 20 minutes later, that there are now 2 guards at that door. But we're going to go ahead and jump over. Szar, you're heading down with Crux. Tinman and Valen, you reach the stores area of the academy. As you come down from the admin, you're in a long, narrow hallway. And you know that the storefront is directly ahead, of course. And that's where you're going to find Mr. Blip, though there are many storerooms. The other 2 doors the one door on the right side here is currently locked. It's sort of a gate door that's made of iron bars. That's the word I'm looking for. And there's a couple other little alcoves, but aside from that, there's no really. You kind of have to go straight forward to the storefront.
So like a porculus?
Yeah,
like
basically.
iron bars, a porculus. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna continue following right next to Tinman, and kind of looking down to see if what he's doing. I'm real curious about this autognome here. He's like nothing I've ever seen before as far as functionality, and I've seen a lot of them. So
very much gawking, very evident that you're staring.
Yeah, I'm probably maybe trying to tap him on the shoulder, see what he does. Not really trip him up, but kind of bump into him a little bit.
Sort of when people test robots and stuff, they push them over.
Yeah, nothing mean, but when he's not looking, I kind of nudge him a little bit. And I'm kind of confused about it.
Not really going to react.
Okay.
Kind of used to this, and I can definitely feel his eyes on me. Could from the very beginning. So as we continue walking, as we continue moving through, eventually...
really quick. Hold that thought really quick. Valen, can I have you make an insight check for me, please?
Yeah. That is going to be... You go through?
I don't see anything.
Oh, there you go. 16. Oh, 19.
Oh.
Nice.
considering your recent or your general interactions with autognomes as a whole, you are increasingly convinced that Tinman is simply an incredibly advanced case of a very well-programmed autognome. Like the fact that he doesn't respond when pushed or nudged or tripped or talked over really sort of reinforces that understanding. Whatever he is, he's just an autognome.
Interesting. After kind of
we're about to
noticing
test
this,
that though.
can I take a look for around at the shops? I'm kind of looking for an armorer or a tinkerer, someone who's got a rather wide variety of offerings. Nothing too niche, nothing too crazy.
Okay. Really quick, Tinman, you were going to say something?
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay. We can continue on. He's looking at the stores, and I'm actually going to kind of join him at this point. He's followed me, so I'm kind of following him. We're in each other's company at this point, so he's looking around. I'm going to kind of look with him, and as we're looking, as the moment continues, he pushes, he pokes, he taps, he looks and gawks. At some point, when that starts to fade off, Tinman's gonna kind of out of nowhere ask, so is it true?
Ooh, what's that?
Is it true you elven types live as long as the stars themselves?
I don't know about living as long as the stars, but we do have a rather long life, and we have the added benefit of being blessed with the magic of the Astral Sea to even elongate that past other elves. Are we indefinite? I don't believe so. It's normally our hubris that gets us killed, but maybe.
Can't say I ever heard of an elf recognizing hubris, but that's heartening to know.
Well, I don't plan to fall for the same traps my forefathers and ancestors have fallen for, that's for sure. What are you looking for?
Oh no, don't worry about me. Just thinking out loud. Astral Sea, it's a strange place. I honestly find myself missing it, which is unusual. But the moment you leave it, the moment you come to actual terra firma, like what's this backwater world called again? Was it Toriel?
I believe so.
Regardless,
They all start sounding like the same, to be honest.
don't they though? But still, the moment you step foot in one of these worlds, time kicks back in. Time starts ticking. And well, I don't think I have to tell you, we autognomes tend to have timers built right in, if you catch my drift. Just makes me anxious being here. I can feel the rust setting in already,
Well, maybe we won't be here too long. What's your prime directive? What brings you here? I've never ever spoke to an autognome like this. Are you looking for a weapon? What is this?
Oh,
I'm gonna kind of
yeah,
get down on
let's,
his level and look at him a little bit.
let's call it an investigation. I am here on behalf of some interested parties for an investigation.
Yeah, you might want to talk to Blip. That sounds like just like an error in your codes there, buddy. I've seen trash cans that can do investigations, so you might want to just take a look at that. And then I'm gonna kind
Maybe I
of
will.
stand up and like turn back to the store and kind of just get back to what I was looking for.
Okay. Any final comments, Tinman?
No, just kind of shake his head, kind of tip his brim down a little bit, and move on.
All right. You see that the storefront, the storeroom itself, is just sort of a very bare bones, rock floor, rock walls, a couple torches on the wall to keep the light, one little orb of light on the ceiling to sort of cast a more even glow. The storefront itself is sort of a barred window set into the stone, so the countertop itself is is stone. And on the other side, you can see racks and cabinets of different items. And it just seems like you were looking for, Valen, a lot of very basic stuff that you would need for a cadet.
Yeah.
Your basic items, your fatigues, your basic armors, weapons, test weapons, stuff like that.
Great.
Tinman, you don't see any of the firearms that Crux had mentioned, but you do both see Blip sort of busying himself amongst the racks, not seeming to have seen you yet.
Probably gonna give him a whistle.
You see his after the second whistle, you see his head turn, and then he stands up straight. Oh, my apologies. He lifts his bowler cap and heads up to the front. How may I help you?
So I was told by Crux there that you had a bit of a collection, some fine firearms. Wanted to see what you had.
Did Crux refer you?
Well, yeah, he sent me along.
I thought I asked him to stop that. Regardless, I will show you in a moment. Is there anything I can help you with, Valen?
Yeah, I'm just looking for a few small things here and there. You know anyone that sells any dice games around here? I'm looking for a pair of deep space shades too.
Deep space shades we have. Dice
Figured as
games. You would have better luck referring to some of the other cadets.
All right, I appreciate it. Thanks, Blip. Hey, Blip, you might want to check on Tinman over there, man. Something's wrong going on with his programming or something. I don't know. Make sure you give him some time sometime here.
We already ran diagnostics earlier today. However, I will refer with him. Thank you for your concern.
Hey, yeah.
Allow me to go get those deep space shades for you.
Thank you.
And he turns around and bustles away. It takes him a moment, and in that time, you hear the clomping of a GIF enter the room behind you. Szar and Crux arrive. Oh, Valen! Tinman! It's nice to see you.
Likewise, big guy. Gosh, you can't miss you from a mile away.
Well, tell that to my enemies. And as as they show up, I think we're going to take a short break right here, 5-minute break, and we'll come back in 5 minutes. Is that better? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, before that, about Szar.
Oh, okay. I was just saying that as you approach, you have the quick moment with Crux, Valen and Crux do. As they're chatting, you have a moment to move into the scene with Szar if you'd like.
Oh, absolutely. I'll walk in.
All right. It's at this moment when Blip comes back to the front and sets down a pair of glasses. You see that they've got very small lenses of a circular shape. They seem to be of a polarized lensing, usually used for miners out in the belt that, when they're working on construction and welding and stuff, they need the eye protection. But it's meant to be small and worn underneath a helmet so that way it doesn't get in the way, but it's also economical. Blip sets these down on the counter. Those are pretty common fare. It would run you about 5 gold.
5, you say? That is serendipitous. I give him. I reach in my pocket, pull out another 5 gold pieces, or 5 pieces, and set them down. Thank you. You sure you don't have any game dice back there?
I can look again, but it is not in my standard inventory.
I appreciate it. I'm trying to take some monies from these fools before they get shipped off to die.
I see. I hear many of the cadets are fond of gambling, and Tarto is particularly adept. Perhaps attempt to challenge her in a game of steady nines one day?
Yeah, I'd like that very much. You play?
Very rarely.
Yeah, it'd probably be cheating, huh? I know how you autonomes are.
Blip looks over at Tin Man, just sort of gives a small shrug, and turns back. I'm sure I don't understand what you mean.
Tin Man, you get what I'm saying, right?
He's gonna say, sort of in his best mimic of Blip, I'm sure I don't know what you mean.
Very well.
Valen, you feel
Does not
Crux's
compute.
you feel Crux's heavy hand fall on your shoulder. What he means is that you're sharp-eyed and capable. Nothing much gets past you two. Tin Man, you see Crux lean over and put a knuckle against the side of your goggles, and says, "Even using items like these, and gives one the ability to see great distances and much detail."
Yeah, I'm pretty fond of these bad boys, thank you.
I don't recognize those. They look quite fetching on you, though.
I appreciate it.
All that to pull in some nice props.
Mr. Blip looks up at you and says, "You know, I hear those were used as a fashion statement once. It died off quite quickly."
I believe it. I believe it. And
Did
gonna
you
bring
just
him back.
give you the 1980s called joke?
I'm gonna take them off and kind of smile at them, and then go right back to my normal like Valen.
Blip's expression remains unchanged. You see him tilt his head as Skarok, you were heading down this way, correct?
Yeah, like just after preparing when Crux and Scar left. Because they would have eaten before they headed up there, correct?
No, they left right away.
Okay.
But yeah, so
See,
That is a shame.
Blip looks up and tilts his head as Skarok enters.
Looking at Valen taking off the shades. Leave them on. I liked it better that way.
I do think they are quite fetching, Crux adds.
There's certainly something.
Seeing Valen like in the state of what do I do? Skarok just chuckles. Said lunch is ready, boys.
Oh God. Oh man. You cooked?
I did.
Oh boy. And is it anything like that disgusting ham bone figure street food you brought out earlier?
Oh, very much so.
And was anything else prepared?
Yes, a succulent steak with a savory onion and garlic sauce.
They got a salad bar here.
Sorry, that got me.
You'll find me
They
there.
got a salad bar here.
And I'm gonna kind of look over the
Skarok's
crowd.
brain just kind of like the loading symbol.
I'm gonna look over the crowd
Yes.
and see if there's a salad bar.
Considering you're in the storefront, you don't see any salad bars, even with your cool new glasses.
I think they're clouding his
Time
vision.
out. You guys don't have salad bars here at the storefront? This is insane. The level of depravity I have to stoop down to at this academy.
I will take your complaints under advisement.
Yeah, I think you should.
However, I am glad to see that all of you are here. There is a task that needs your assistance.
So much for lunchtime.
Oh,
Damn
please have
shame,
your
those
meal.
steak cuts look pretty good.
Please have your meal. There is time.
Well, hey, Blip, how about you let us know what we need to do? We take the we head down, we get some lunch.
Take the information back with us.
Fair enough. That seems more efficient.
Now, there's a man with a plan. It does include some disgusting street meat that I will not partake in, but that's fine.
Valen,
Suit yourself.
what if I told you this meal costs a fortune to eat?
Nah, fortune to eat is perspective, one that I don't feel we would match on.
Gonna go ahead and turn back to Mr. Blip.
Pretty sure you just
So
called
what's
us
this mission
broke,
we got?
but we'll ignore that.
Skarok just like the vein pops out on his forehead and is like
As they're having this discussion, Tinman, Mr. Blip looks up at you and he lifts his hand and motions for you to come backwards and moves over to a side door, which you hear click open and sort of swing outward to omit you behind the storefront here. Please follow me.
All right, I will.
As you enter, he intentionally closes the door and locks it so that no one else can follow. And he leads you to the back, into a back corner. And you can sort of see that just out of eyesight of where you were at the storefront itself, there is pretty much an entire, it's probably a 10 by 5 rack up on the wall holding all manner of firearms. Most of them are pretty rudimentary, usually sort of like copper pipes with an explosive element at the end, just sort of a potato shooter sort of deal.
Boomstick.
But you see there's rifles, there's a pair of dual pistols that look a lot like Cruxes. They're a similar make, but you can sort of tell the similarities that they were probably made by the same person or the same company, even if they aren't the exact same weapons. Oh, excuse me. But underneath what you see on a lifted bench that's got a sort of a cushion on it is probably a 3-foot case of pristine black leather with the corners on each corner is ornate silver filigree, and the handle itself is of etched silver. You can see just above the handle, right on the same little plate that the lock is on, are the initials SL.
What do we have over here?
I have collected these from those that travel through the academy.
Just a little hobby of yours?
They are sentimental. An old friend of mine very much enjoyed firearms.
Kind of pat him on the shoulder there. Sentimentality is an unusual trait for an autognome.
His head slowly turns towards you. It is.
So what can you tell me about this one here? Pointing at the fancy case.
That belonged to my friend. Many would have referred to him as my former master. However, I knew him as a friend. You see him sort of reach into one of the many pouches on his vest and pull out a silver, very normal-looking silver key. He goes up to the chest and puts the key in, turns it, and you see him flip up the latches. And I want you to make a history check.
Gladly. I am intrigued. Ooh,
Okay.
that's a 9.
You almost
inspiration?
Oh, you do have your
if you
inspiration.
want.
Oh yeah,
How
inspiration
That's
is a D4, is it?
I'll call it a D6 for now.
Oh.
If it's a D4, then we'll fix it.
All right. Well, that puts it at more of a 14.
14. All right. As it opens, you can't breathe, but the same mechanism of catching your breath happens, sort of like your gears freeze for a moment as you fail to process immediately. The chest opens, and sitting in black satin leather, just sort of sunk down, is probably a foot and a half long, almost sort of like a half rifle handgun of pristine silver, polished to reflection, like mirror shine. The handle is ornate black wood, and you could just, like, the action itself is very finely crafted. You can see the craft in this. You recognize this firearm. You've seen it before.
I have.
This belongs to Silver Liner, who is a very well-known bounty hunter in the Great Belt. He was a warforged that you've crossed paths with several times.
God dang. I can't tell you the last time I seen this thing in action.
You recognize this firearm?
As a matter of fact, I do. We were out in a frontier town. I was still getting my bearings out from underneath me, and I'll be honest, I was in way over my head. Frankly, I was just trying to make me some quick cash. I didn't have enough for some repairs that I was needing, and I had recently kind of gone my separate ways from the folks that had been helping keeping me tempered up till then. I figured it'd be easy work, but I was a dang fool's what I was. But Silver there, he came in, he snatched me out the jaws there, and watching him work with this thing was something magical, I tell you. The folks I worked with before, that had a certain way of fighting about them that I'd picked up, that is what made me so confident. The way he went about it, though, was so different. I'll be honest, after he saved me, I pestered the poor man for probably the whole week he was still there in town, asking and begging him to basically teach me everything I could. He gave me a few pointers, and I'll be honest, I've been chasing that ever since. God, where's he at these days? I wouldn't think I'd ever see him separate from his gun.
He gave me his firearm when he retired.
Retired?
In his final years, I was his assistant. I assisted him. I kept the books for him. His memory was going towards the end.
Yeah, he was an old man by the time I met him, but I didn't think he was that close to going out. Oh, wow. Beautiful piece. Crying shame it don't get no use no more. But, I mean, better it be with someone who can remember his better days.
Blip's expression is unreadable, but he seems to be staring at you intently. His eyes have turned from his normal blue to something of a purple, like a deep purple, and you can, just by recognizing basic body language, spending a lot of time around other autognomes, you can tell that there's a somberness to how he stands, to the shade of his eyes. Every autognome's a little bit different. They express, more mechanically, of course, because most of them don't have the nuances that you do. But you could see that there might be a little bit of that, what you have in Blip. But after a moment, his eyes turn back blue. He straightens his backpack up. Indeed, you could see his hand rest on the Silver Liner's weapon for a moment, and then he quickly closes it back up, locks it, latches it closed. Anyway, I had a task for the four of you.
Yes, no, Mr. Blip, I appreciate you showing me a fine collection here. I imagine them three meat sacks are about done arguing. Let's head on back, shall we?
Indeed. could you help me with this? He motions to a crate nearby. It's about 5 by 5. It's a pretty big crate. Would you assist me with getting this up front, please?
Absolutely. I'll go ahead and kind of help him get under there.
Alrighty. Go ahead and make a quick athletics for me.
Now,
You
I
get
gotta warn
advantage
you,
because he's
my
assisting.
servos are a little stiff over here.
You get advantage because he's assisting. Sorry, I should have said
No.
that. Well, I thought I said
right.
it, but
Let's go ahead and do it one more time here, shall we? Which feeling? Oh, well, it's a good thing I got that 9. Better
Okay.
than a crit fail.
yes. So, yeah, you're still a little stiff even after your test from having spent so much time in recovery. It takes a moment, but you feel some clicks that you're a little concerned about. But everything seems to fall back in place. The cog starts spinning the right way again, and you both manage to lift it up and carry it up front. The rest of you, bickering between Skarok and Valen, you see the 2 auto gnomes bringing forth a very large crate. Tinman, you can tell that this thing probably weighs somewhere around 100, 150.
Do I see Tinman struggling to carry it?
Not at first, but as they get towards the front, yes, you do.
All right. Seeing that, I'm going to kind of swoop in and just like grab it up off of their shoulders.
You manage to sort of intervene as they get to the front desk and around to the door. Once they're in a spot that you can access them, go ahead and make your athletics for me, please. Okay.
17.
All right. It's pretty heavy, but it's nothing you haven't felt before. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Yes, sir. Oh,
All right.
How about 8?
As you take a couple of steps back, an odd scent from the crate strikes your sensitive nose, and almost immediately you feel every muscle in your body tense. You feel something overcome your senses, and for a moment, the weight in your arms is that of a recently slain hunt. It's warm blood running through your fur, the adrenaline pumping through your veins, and the sweat underneath your coat drenching the rest of your coat and your clothes. And after a moment, you snap out of it, and you're back in the storeroom carrying the crate.
You're right, big guy.
And I'm just gonna kind of look over at Timmy, and Blip. What's in there?
This is a delivery for Mert himself from the visiting dignitaries. I believe they said it was spices.
Spices, you say? Can I roll an insight check on that? Being that of the culinary sort, would I have tracked any spices?
I'll let you roll insight on that, just to see if you sort of recognize the spice or if it is a spice.
Can I roll my perception, which is better?
Yeah.
That actually makes more sense.
9.
Better
Wow.
indeed.
These dice.
These dice are cold.
It definitely has the sting of a spice, and you kind of get the feeling that it might have been the fact that it is a spice you're familiar with that might have elicited this response. Perhaps it was in the grass. You had stumbled through some during your hunt, and so it brought back this powerful memory. But you can't quite place it, but you do know that it was a memory that happened.
Just kind of Skarok will grunt and just kind of mumble. That's weird. Why would spices. Just kind of like grumbling about memories and things. Just under my breath thing, it's like, yeah, why would that bring back memories? Something doesn't feel right.
Hey, Big Bird, you want to move it along here? I'm getting a little bit hungry, and I heard there's a salad bar.
It's like, yes, I will prepare you a salad. And I'm going to take the box and say,
You're
Val,
preparing
can you
the salads?
grab the
Can
other
we
side.
stop complaining and move this thing already?
You're right. Let's get out of here. I'm getting hungry, and I heard there's a
So yeah,
salad bar.
I'm going to give Valen the other half of the box and see if he has a similar reaction that I do.
You're gonna give who?
I'm going to offer the other handle to Valen. Say, hey, grab the other side. Let's go.
Valen, make a Constitution save for me,
Here we
please.
go. It's easy.
You catch an odd scent from the box, sort of a capsaicin, a spicy scent, but it just smells a little funny to you, a little earthy. But aside from that, nothing really. It's sort of the muscles in like your neck tense, but that could have just been from taking a big whiff.
Yeah, this smells like just like hill spice, buddy. Let's get the heck out of here.
As you say, let's roll.
I do not want to carry this thing.
Tinman is just sitting here itching where he would have a nose, thinking like, what am I missing here?
Did you see that?
See
Let's
what?
go. Come on.
Is that? All right. So you notice as Crux actually stays behind to speak with Blip, as the rest of you. Szar, are you going up with them?
Yeah, I'll go up with them.
Okay. As the rest of you head up towards the mess hall, you don't really run into anyone. It seems that most of the students are already in there eating. So you make it there without a whole lot of issue. There's some students sort of lingering in the hallways, looking through books, working through some stuff, working through problems or whatever. And so you manage to get back there without any real issues. Skarok, I need you to make one more athletics check for me, please.
Sure.
Move, big guy, move.
And Valen's the one helping you, so you'll get advantage.
Can I intentionally fail to drop it?
Yes.
So, but I want to do it in a way where it's not obvious that I'm dropping it. That I'm genuinely curious as to what's inside of it to try and it slipped out and popped open.
Oh, this is gonna come back to bite us later.
With your
Yes,
base,
it is.
Oh yeah, it is.
with your basic insight, you can see that the box actually seems to be relatively reinforced.
Okay.
So a normal drop probably wouldn't break it open.
Okay. In that case, then no. I'll just I'll take.
Yo,
the
pick it
athletics
up.
check.
Come on, I'm trying to eat this salad bar.
Nat 1.
Doesn't matter.
Oh wait. Did you say I have advantage, Mark?
Advantage.
Okay.
Is Valenta. All right. So you managed to make it up there. Both of you are getting up there pretty easy. The stairs are a bit of a challenge, but you managed to make it into the mess hall. You can see the place is almost packed. But there is a couple open seats, a couple of tables. There's one or two open seats, but you can see that at one of the tables is only Mikan and Fred. And immediately the plasmoid extends out a tendril and waves for you to come over.
These guys are gonna get us killed, I promise you. Is that the only open
Come
table
on, Valen.
here?
What's the harm in a little friendly banter?
You can make an insight check if you'd like.
Friendly
Tinman's just gonna
banter
go ahead.
leads to trust. Trust out there gets us killed. You should know this more than anyone, Szar.
Who
Tinman's
said
just
friendly
gonna go ahead
banter
and
has
start-
to lead to trust?
I'm gonna go ahead and start walking in that direction, kind of like putting my finger up. You need to have more faith in folks.
That's just weird.
And then Skarok's gonna put the box down, and basically head back to the kitchen and just dish out the meals.
All right.
Was there a salad bar?
So I'm gonna come out with the plate with basically same dish, the nice cut of meat like steaming off. You can see the sauce, and then that's right, salad. And then I'm gonna pull out from the bag of colding like just a head of lettuce and just kind of like spin my knife around and like shave off a salad on top of it and say, "Your salad."
Is that a pocket salad?
Is there any other kind of salad?
Oh my
And
God.
Skarok just points at the bug and says, "This man knows what's up."
Roll a d6 for me, Skarok. Just
Y'all
a
are gonna give
d6.
me. Y'all are gonna kill me.
Okay.
For
So, Valen, he's put together a salad just for you.
Thank you. I appreciate this dish.
all right,
That sounded forced.
so Skarok just like leans down really close to Valence, like, "I understand you. You feel like you don't want to try my food, that it is beneath you. I challenge you this, say, push-ups. Who can do the most push-ups? I win, you eat."
It's not that I don't trust your food, but you say it's beneath me and you pulled it out of a pocket that you sat on. So it's like kind of beneath you.
I tell Valen, I'm like, "Here, try this. Think of your favorite vegetable or salad topping." And I open up the bag of colding and I tell, "Reach your hand and pull it out. Chances are you will find it."
Wait. I've been hearing you say the word bag of holding. Are you saying bag of colding?
Holding. Correct.
Yes.
Is this
Portable
a mobile
fridge.
fridge?
It's
Yes.
awesome.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes, it is. It is a bag of holding that has the cold spell. It's basically a refrigerator.
Yep.
If your kind thought more with their brains than their tummies, I wouldn't have so many of you mounted on my wall. I'm not sticking my hand into that cold bag or anything you have to give me.
And try.
Those are the words of someone who starves.
It will be a long time
Again, the
before
bug
I
speaks
starve
true.
bug brains.
It is as though at this moment, Valen, you realize that the only food being prepared looks suspiciously like what Skarok has been attempting to give to you,
It's like,
to the group of you.
you know, Valen, if you don't trust me, if you trust Ryback, and I motion back, and I just imagine him just like spooning down lard.
Ryback is up at the serving counter, handing out meals to the students as they go past, or as they continue down the line. And he looks up, sort of sensing that attention is turned towards him. And you can see he's got his trusty can of dented lard next to him. It is open slightly, but not entirely. He looks a little bashful at you, Skarok, and says, "I may have tried."
And I just kind of like do the finger wave.
Just my own. But
And
he looked. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm just saying that I just gestured to Valen. It's like, the choice is yours.
I'm gonna sit down and pull a piece of bread out from my belt line and start eating it, and ask for see if there's any ale around here.
But the pocket salad was not good. Pocket
I was
bread.
like,
But belt bread.
belt bread. You are a strange man.
I'll hear none of this from any of you guys.
And so I just serve up the dish to everybody, and kind of ask, so like really into it, like, how is it? Tell me what do you think of the flavors? What is it? Too sweet? Too sour?
The meat is so succulent. It melts in the mouth.
There is a marbling of fat in there that it is very, very tender and delicious.
You
All
kind of
right.
get the feeling that the way Thrycreen eat, everything melts in the mouth.
Skarok, I'll give you a way for me to try your pocket meat here.
Indulge me.
If you can convince the Tin Man down there to taste your food and tell me how it is, I will then taste your food. What do you say, Tin Man? Are you hungry?
Yeah, sure. I'll try anything once.
This is gonna be great. Do you even have a mouth?
So yeah, Skarok actually looks and says, "Apologies, Tin Man. I did not prepare you a portion, but I'm sure there may be some. Do you eat?
Give me a plate, and I'll work with what I can.
All right, and I will just kind of, not knowing, just prepare a smaller portion for Tin Man.
So you've all sort of moved over to the table at this point. Valen, at your request for ale, you see Ryback sort of pat a chest pocket, pat a side pocket, pat a back pocket. Each one you hear a dung dung. No, that one's empty. Dung dung. Nope, that one's empty. And eventually he reaches down and pulls one out of his boot, and you can see he's got a flask that's for his hand and his drinking, his body size is pretty sizable, and he just sets it on the counter and slides it over. Enjoy.
Now, boot whiskey and boot booze, I will never turn down. Thank you so much. You saved this meal from being an absolute failure.
Sorry, did he say he drink boot booze?
So boot booze is
You
better
drink out
than
of
a
shoes?
pocket salad. And belt bread.
Honestly, I've seen booze pulled from worse locations.
Thank you. We all know the rules of the astral belt when it comes to boozing. We all partake.
Anywhere you can hide it.
Wait a minute. Did the Tin Man just say that?
What? So this food here, tell me, what kind of oil do you use to cook it in?
It is from the kabak slice. We slice the oil, and it's I guess you could say it is like lard, but the fat of the animal itself.
Right. Rendered onto the plate, so it's suet. All right, and you said it was well marbled, is that right?
Yep. Yes.
So I'm gonna kind of, with his little strangly single rod tinker toy style fingers, kind of start like flicking off the individual little bits of onion and all of the roughage and all the fiber and everything, and just get down to just like the sauce and the meat. And you're gonna like, from underneath his mustache, which is like a single wooden panel over his brass and tin face, his mouth will kind of like just kind of fall open. You're just gonna take it and just shovel it in, and then you hear this sound like a furnace, woof, as like smoke and fire kind of rise up out of his neck, and he's kind of chewing it, masticating it, breaking it down as this fire sort of renders it down to just basically char and oil, and he just kind of makes a like kind of a pretend mimic of a swallow. Yeah, all right. That'll keep you lubricated for a while. That's actually some pretty quality stuff, I gotta say. Most of the time, when I render soot for my gears, there's a lot of tendon in there.
No, time out. Did you just?
I think I could have went my whole life without seeing that.
Skarok is absolutely enthralled, like 6 inches away from Tin Man, just watching intently and like looking for any sign of like enjoyment. Like, did he like it? Did he like it?
No. Actually, I think that's mighty fine. That better than any water oil. I'll tell you that right now.
You can see Fred sitting next to you doing the exact same thing as Skarok. He's like, just watching, like his head pseudopod is right there.
I just kind of prod the head back and say, I swear, I will never forget that. I say, so Valen, even the tiny metal man here says it's good.
I was thinking that maybe that could have been programmed, though.
Then why did you ask for his opinion?
Well, I never seen an autognome open his mouth in such a way. I didn't know they could do that. Did you?
Well, hey,
Brains?
I
now, Valen,
didn't. Honestly, I thought you would just wanted Tinman to eat it, so you had an excuse not to because you thought he couldn't.
That's exactly what I thought, actually.
Yeah.
I take back the bug brains thing. It's actually exactly what I was thinking, and that would insinuate I have
That's
bug
actually
brains.
So, Valen, I heard you are a man of your word, and I just kind of like gesture back down to the bowl. Bon
I
appetit.
am a man of my word. But I was thinking if I could see Szar one more time give me his opinion, I could partake in your pocket meat. Szar, what is your opinion of said pocket meat of this furry?
I don't think you really want my opinion. I think you're just stalling. You've seen me eat garbage. You don't care what I have to say.
I appreciate his honesty. I gotta say, it was pretty disgusting, but nevertheless, he's right.
I reinstate my bug brain statement.
I would like both Szar, Tinman, and Skarok to all roll persuasion at advantage.
Peer pressure, peer pressure, peer pressure.
Oh God.
As both Fred and Mikan are staring at Valen expectantly.
Let's go. 17 for Skarok.
And that salad isn't available. All right.
Szar's gonna crit, natural 20.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Oh,
Get
he
it.
did
It's food.
Wow, that was a lot of.
That was very descriptive.
Very nice 21.
It's got good flavor. Has some zero energy. Probably full of preservatives. Derived from some lowly beast while it was sleeping, judging by your character. But it's
It's a
pretty
lot
good.
of talk for it's a lot of words for, just to say it's good.
It's
Can I insight check?
Absolutely. So with an 18, Valen, what does Skarok pick up on?
he loves it.
Skarok, you can even see that in Valen. Valen's not hiding it terribly well, but you can see it in Szar and even Tinman. They seem bolstered. You're cooking, bolsters people. It makes them feel better. It uplifts them. Each of you gets 3 temporary hit points if you didn't already have temporary hit points.
Let's go.
And so
it's
yeah,
not
as
bad. It's
And
not
yourself
bad,
as well,
actually.
Skarok.
as Valen's doing that and like kind of going through it, I said if you really want a salad, now start pulling out other vegetables and like just shredding off and just kind of create a little like vinaigrette dressing for his salad, like in front of him, like showing
No,
it's like, hey,
I appreciate it. I've had more than enough to sustain me for quite some time. That pocket meat would keep me going for a while. I appreciate it, big guy. It was the
and he just kind of like waves the knife blade at him. It's like, I will get you soon. Soon you will open up.
At that juncture, actually, Skarok, you notice Mikan and Fred have also partaken in their lunch. You see that they're bolstered as well. Fred seems a little more solid. His surface tension's a little more gleaming. Mikan doesn't seem quite as depressed as he did earlier. You can see sort of the color come back to his face. The Thry-Kreen that was with them before is not here now. But after probably about 10-15 minutes, you see everybody else sort of stand up and filter out. Mikan leads forward and sort of says to everybody else, I just wanted to thank you for your kind words earlier and for the delicious food, Skarok. I hope
Skarok
that.
just
Go ahead.
nods and. Sorry, no, just say just nods. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope that we have the opportunity to work together again. I want to prove you right. And with that, he stands up and walks away. Fred just sort of wiggles in place and goes, "Have a good day," and then stands and walks away as well. You see as pretty much the entirety of the mess hall goes about their day, continues. There's a few people still around, a couple of staff members. You see Ryback come out to start cleaning up, and you remember that you have a task to be about.
Yep. And then Fed, it's looks at Skarok, looks at Valen, then goes, "Hey Szar, grab the other side." Then we pick up the box to move it.
Yeah, pick this thing up. It smells terrible.
I need both of you to make a Constitution saving throw for me, please, as you lift it.
I'm going to delay just slightly
Mhm.
until like Skarok grabs it, or Szar starts grabbing it to lift it up to see
I got
what
a
happens
9.
to him.
So Szar with a 9, you don't smell in the same way that others do, but you sort of sense the scent particles in the air with your antenna, and the rest of you sort of see as Czar's eyes kind of glaze over, like his multifaceted eyes just sort of lose their glimmer. And Szar, you're standing on the deck of the Jade Locust.
I like to think he falls on his face during this. Just straight.
Just poof. You're standing on the deck of the Jade Locust, and you're in the middle of a pitched battle. You remember this battle, and in fact, you remember who you were fighting. It was Tugboat. This was the battle that you brought Tugboat under heel and started the Crate and Barrel. You see as your bodies fall around you, blood is soaking the deck. Your scimitars and what blades that you use are shining through the astral light, the off purple of the Astral Sea, as body after body falls in front of you. Every one of them faceless. And as you feel a thunk on the side of your head, you feel Titan break, and after a moment, you're back. And you're on the floor, having slammed your head on the ground. I'd like you to take 5 points of bludgeoning damage, please.
I told you he had bug brains.
Yo, what is in that box, my guy? I
Hey,
haven't
Skarok
had a
just
high
pointed-
like that in years.
Skarok just
you all right?
points at the bug and goes, "See, I told you."
Yo, there's something up with that box.
Like,
I'm sure it is. They wouldn't be asking us to move it if it was nothing.
But-
Spice my
Bad
ass.
checks.
There's definitely a funny powder in there.
So where are we supposed to be delivering this? Oh, to Mert, right?
Correct. Yep.
Right.
Sorry, Blip had mentioned that you need to take it up to Mert's quarters.
All right. So let's go find Mert's.
You guys good to carry that?
You know, Valen, why don't you step up and grab the other side? I'm not feeling it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't want to carry that. It's
Oh yeah.
made
Sorry,
me
and I
fall
do need to roll
face
my
first
con
on the
save.
floor.
That's a 10.
Hey, Metalmouth, you want to help me carry this? Or are you gonna go bozo on me?
Let's go. I'm gonna go ahead and get up and start getting my servos to lift it up.
Skarok, with the 10, you smell you smell the same seasoning again, the spice, and as it strikes you, you're ready for it this time. So you're a little more bolstered, and while you sort of feel that feeling of adrenaline, like cold in your veins again, like you're ready for battle, it doesn't overtake you. You stay entirely in your senses. You're present. You're lifting it, but it almost feels like adrenaline from lifting something so heavy. But you can tell that the spice got into you somehow, influenced you a little bit as it did. Tin Man, I need you to roll a Constitution save at advantage, please.
You didn't need me to roll again, do you?
No, you're good. Actually, yes, please. Sorry.
Yep.
You said at advantage?
Yep.
What do my elven eyes see?
All right. So
Tinman's got a 19 and Valen's got a 6.
So Tin Man, you're not sure what they're talking about, but also smell doesn't register to you in general the same way it does to everyone else. To you, it's just data. You know this scent, like you've caught it before, but you've also caught a lot of scents before. You spent time around the chaff, the trugs, as Skarok would call it, sort of the underground of the societal world.
Sometimes
Valen,
I thank the Lord that I don't have to smell.
yeah, Valen, you seize up entirely. You go to lift it, you catch a whiff, and the rest of you see as Valen, rictus grin pulls onto his face, and his hair blows behind him. You're not sure where the wind came from.
How it feels. Q5 gum.
But Valen, you're in the Gale Force. You are in the Gale Force. You're closer to the Gale Force than you've ever been. You sense another presence next to you, and you know what it is. It's been there before. It's always been there. And even now that it's gone, it will continue to be there. It's your companion, your space hamster, Stardust. And after a moment, you feel the Gale Force tear at your skin, and you're on the last turn of your Grand Prix, about to pull into the wind. You're neck and neck with some of the other racers. And to get ahead, you lean into the Gale Force, closer than anyone's been, and you feel as fur strikes your face like needles, and the skin on your arm starts to tear away from the sheer wind force. And as you pass the finish line, you come back. You're leaned over the box.
You all right over there?
What is this?
It's heavy. Is what it is. You let go. I'm compressing. I'm compressing. Help!
Yeah.
Help me.
You
All right,
see
Skar's
Tin Man's legs sort of lift up into his body as he starts to sink lower and lower.
Skarok, I want to take back my opinion of your meal. That was garbage. That was terrible food. I will never eat again anything that comes out of those pockets.
I swear, man, say that again, and I will cut out your tongue.
My tongue almost is on top of this crate here. We're going to go deliver this with vomit everywhere. And they're going to say, oh, you're an elf. Why did you eat that street meat and throw up everywhere? And I'm going to have to say, oh, it was an accident. I got peer pressure. Do you know what? Like, elves don't get peer pressured. This is not a good look for me, bro.
I'd like to say, judging by previous reactions, it probably has something to do with this crate, which, might I add, is crushing me right now.
Skarok is lifting it back off and try and give Tin Man a little bit of space here.
Skarok rolled a 16 on an athletics check to lift it back up and take off that weight, Tin Man.
Okay. So yeah, all while I'm just laughing at Valen and his speech and just he's Skyborn, and just carries the box.
All right. As you go ahead, Tin Man.
Considering I'm not catching up much of nothing here, and you three are apparently having something going on here, this box looks sealed to me, but are we thinking something maybe narcotic? Do we need to be concerned for Mert's sake?
I'm thinking there's a funny spice in this box.
I think I gave him the message right on top here.
All right. Well, then all we can do is deliver it and warn them of whatever it is you're doing right now.
I think he'll be pretty aware.
All right.
All right. Let's get this thing moving.
Yeah, so you head out and you start heading upwards. You take the outside path up the general ramp toward or up the academy, and eventually you make it up to the bridge quarters. With the there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of guards in way here. There is one guard, but he seems distracted and lets you pass, seeing that you've got a package for Mert. And you step up to Mert's door, and what you see what Szar, you would recognize this. Valen, you might, but it looks like a captain's door. And you can sort of see that about head height, just to the left, is a bullet hole. You can't see through it, but there's a bullet mark sort of chunked out of it. And as you step up to the door, you can see that it is closed, and you see like the torch next to it. What do you do?
I'm gonna knock on the door.
All right. The door creaks open.
Guys, that's not a good sign.
Creaky door, perfectly normal. I know what you're talking about. Let's get rid of this thing.
Does anybody have a towel on them? I seriously cannot go in there looking like this.
From your position in the room, you can actually see that Mert I shouldn't say Mert. You see a figure sleeping in the bed at the far end of the room. And I'll take you over to the map. And I think that's where we're going to call our session for the night.
All right,
gentlemen.
Nice.
We got a lot of good role playing today.
Yeah, great
That was
session,
fun.
guys. Thanks for everyone that tuned in, that was chatting with us.
Yes,
we'll
thank you
have
for
this
being
up
here.
on YouTube in
Couple
by
days.
Wednesday.
Yep.
So that was great, guys. That was so much fun. So thanks again.
Yes.
We'll
Yes.
see you guys next week for Jam Session Hangout, and then 2 weeks again for episode 3.
Yep. Alrighty.
Awesome.
Have a good
See
night,
ya.
everyone. Thanks for being
Night,
here.
Night all.